What's going on, Vikings fans? We got some breaking news for you guys as Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings have agreed to a multi-year extension where it's looking like we have a whole lot more years of Kevin O'Connell being the head coach of our Minnesota Vikings. So coming up on today's show, I got Mark Wilf, Ziggy Wilf, and Kevin O'Connell's comments on this hiring for the Minnesota Vikings. And also just want to talk about Kevin O'Connell as a whole and why I think this is 100% the right move, even though a lot of us are a little down on our head coach. But then we'll also talk about Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Could a extension be coming for him as well? Well, it's looking like it. But before we dive into it, make sure you guys are subscribed here to Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Help us reach 52,000 subscribers no matter what time, no matter where I'm at. If there is some breaking news around the Minnesota Vikings, I will have a video for you guys ASAP. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in. Don't miss a thing around the Minnesota Vikings, and subscribe today. So, Kevin O'Connell, multi-year extension with the Minnesota Vikings. And first off, I want to read off a couple of comments from the ownership of Minnesota. So this one is coming in from Mark Wilf, saying, Kevin is exactly who we believed him to be when we named him our head coach. An innovative play caller, an excellent communicator, and a strong leader who motivates and connects with his players. He has helped establish a culture that positions us for sustained success, and he will continue to set the standard we are pursuing a championship for Vikings fans. So Mark clearly has a lot of love for KOC, but also Ziggy had this to say, saying there is no question this team is on the right trajectory under Kevin's continued leadership. His authenticity, passion, and positive energy, along with his impressive understanding of the game, has helped lead to the success we've experienced over the past 3 years and will be foundational blocks on which we will build moving forward. And then Kevin O'Connell had some comments, and this is a longer one, so stay with me here, saying, it is an absolute honor to continue leading the Minnesota Vikings. Holding the prestigious position is something I never take for granted, and I want to express my sincere gratitude to the Wilf family for their unwavering belief in what we are building together. I also want to thank Leah and our incredible children. Their love and support allows me to perform at this job at a high level, and none of this would be possible without the dedication of our coaches, players, and support staff. I can't wait to get back to work with all of them as we continue to build upon the high standard we've set and the positive environment we've created. And then he said this to say to Vikings fans, you're the best in the NFL. There is no greater joy than leading our team in front of you each Sunday and experiencing the home field advantage you create. I'm thrilled for the years ahead and will continue to give you everything I have as we pursue a Super Bowl for the state of Minnesota. So some great continuity from the top bottom, starting with the ownership group to Kevin O'Connell, and that's always something I've appreciated about this organization. Even though we have had the playoff, lapses over the last couple of years under KOC, it always seems like they are on the same page. Every move they make is calculated, and it seems like every prominent member of the Vikings organization is connected at the hip, and that's why an extension for Kwesi could be coming here in a little bit. And we'll talk about that on the second half of today's show. But I do just want to talk about Kevin O'Connell, as a whole as the Vikings head coach, because I was very emotional after the Rams playoff game. I was very critical of his play calling, just how he went about that game. I thought you should have leaned more into the run game, leaned more into the quick pass game. But also I think Kevin O'Connell knows that. And, my bold prediction for this offseason heading into next year is that the Vikings offense will look completely different than what they looked like this year. I think they're going to be more of a run-first team, where I could see them really targeting offensive linemen, huge in free agency. Then you go get a running back in the draft. But, back to Kevin O'Connell here, you think about what he's done for the Vikings. You got the most out of Kirk Cousins that we have ever seen. And then when Kirk Cousins went down, we saw great play from Josh Dobbs. We saw great play from even guys like Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, when they had to step in there. And he's really gotten the most out of that quarterback position. And if you just look, big picture here, not just focusing in on the last two games, because everybody likes to talk about how much money did Sam Darnold lose over the past 2 weeks. Well, let's go bigger picture here. How much money did Sam Darnold earn himself from the start of the season, where people were viewing this guy as maybe a 5-week starter for the Minnesota Vikings? Then they turn it over to J.J. McCarthy. But what Kevin O'Connell was able to get out of Sam Darnold, I'm sure they're viewing the J.J. McCarthy situation as the same thing. We can get a young QB on a rookie deal, build a stacked team around him, and then really just bank on Kevin O'Connell getting the most out of that group. And I think if you even look back to last free agency, them moving off Kirk Cousins, I think was one, them not having faith in Kirk to bounce back from that Achilles injury, and they made the right move 100% there. But also, you had faith in Kevin O'Connell that no matter what quarterback you brought in there, KOC would get the most out of him, and I think he has. Now, he does have his red flags, like the run game, which we have talked about countless times here on the channel, adding a quick pass game. But again, it's only been a 3-year run. He won 13 games in year one. 7 wins last year without a starting quarterback, and then 14 wins again this season. It's going to come down to the playoffs with Kevin O'Connell. Is he a good or is he a great coach? I think that question is still out there, but there's no doubt in my mind that he's a top 10 coach in the NFL. Will he ever crack that top 5? I think the development of J.J. McCarthy is the best answer to that question. But we'll talk about Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah getting extended here in a little bit. But let me ask you guys this. Do you trust Kevin O'Connell to be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings for the near future? Scale it for me, 1 to 10, down below in the comments section. Now, before we dive into the Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah talk, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app today and plug in promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You heard that right, 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And with the Wild and Timberwolves, their seasons, really picking up right now. If you guys want to make those games more interesting, creating a Prize Picks lineup is the #1 way to do so. So I got that link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. Check them out, but download the app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. Man, what exciting times to be a Vikings fans right now. Ben Johnson leaves the Lions. He's heading to the Chicago Bears. And then we extend our guy, Kevin O'Connell. Also looking more likely that Brian Flores will remain as the DC for the Vikes. But now the attention shifts to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Is he getting an extension with the Minnesota Vikings? So let's break this down because, I think you got 3 aspects of being a GM. You got the draft and the UDFA. We all know Kwesi has struggled with that. If you had to name one good player, one starter that they have drafted over the last 3 seasons, the only one out there is really Jordan Addison. You can make an argument for Jalen Naylor in the 6th round, and, I guess that was a good pickup for a 6th-round pick. But still, there's a lot of question marks if Kwesi can draft. And I hate bringing up, last year's draft already and criticizing him for that. But him taking Dallas Turner, and I understand Turner is 3 years younger than Jared Verse, but him taking Turner over Jared Verse, that's going to be a hot topic of conversation if Dallas Turner does not develop. So we all know Kwesi, he struggles drafting players. But again, give him a couple more years, maybe that would change. But one part that Kwesi's done an amazing job is free agency. Talk about the pickups last season. Blake Cashman, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard. They turned a defense that didn't really have a lot of talent on that side of the football. And yes, maybe you only have a couple blue chippers in Grenard, in Van Ginkel, but just the overall group that they were able to establish this past season, I thought it was great. Last year's free agency, the decision to let Kirk Cousins walk, the decision to let Danielle Hunter walk. And yes, Danielle went and had a great year with the Houston Texans, but I say, who won the Grenard, Danielle Hunter swap, I'd probably have to lean with the Vikings. Biggest reason is because he's making less than Danielle, and plus he's about 4 years younger. So I thought free agency, he was great last season. Even, finding a guy like Sam Darnold, finding a guy like Aaron Jones, that was great. And now, talking about the trade market or the trades that Kwesi's made, really the biggest one was the TJ Hawkinson trade. And I'm a big fan of TJ. Looking back on that, maybe I wish the Vikings wouldn't have made that move considering, out of the draft the last couple of years, we have gotten some elite tight end talent. But I fully expect since this Kevin O'Connell extension got done, Kwesi will be right behind him. And what I was talking about at the top of the show is that the Vikings want all these guys on the same, kind of timeline, same path here, because let's just say J.J. McCarthy and this new era we're entering with the Minnesota Vikings fizzles out and it doesn't go well. If you got them on the same timeline, it would be a lot easier just to cut bait with KOC, with Kwesi. But it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if Kwesi's going to get extended. I'm going to lean yes, but that's not a certainty by any means, considering how much he has struggled in the NFL draft over his first 3 seasons as a GM. But we'll close today's show out with this. Will Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah get extended this offseason? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comments section. And just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. KOC, he's going to be a head coach for the Minnesota Vikings for the next couple of years. So we'll get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See you guys next time. And as always, we end every show by saying this: Skol Vikes.